Once upon a time there was a boy who was very curious about life and death. He wanted to know what happens after we die and whether there is a heaven or a hell. He asked his parents, his teachers, and his friends, but no one could give him a satisfactory answer. One day, he decided to go to the forest and look for a wise old man who lived there. He packed some food and water and set off on his journey. He walked for a long time until he reached a small hut in the middle of the forest. He knocked on the door and an old man opened the door. He had a long beard and a wrinkled face and a kind smile. "Hello, young man, what brings you here?" the old man asked. "Hello, sir, I have come to ask you a question. I want to know what happens after we die and whether there is a heaven or hell," the boy asked. The old man nodded. "That is a very important question, but it is not easy to answer. You have to see it for yourself. Come with me and I will show you." The old man took the boy by hand and led him to a secret passageway behind the hut. They walked through a dark tunnel until they reached a large hall. The hall was divided into two parts by a wall. On one side of the wall, there was a huge table filled with delicious food. There were fruits, vegetables, bread, cheese, meat, cakes and pies. The food looked fresh and appetizing, and the smell was mouth-watering. On the other side of the wall, there was another table with the same food, but it looked rotten and disgusting. The food was covered with mold and maggots and flies. The smell was horrible and the sight was nauseating. The boy was puzzled and asked, "What is this, sir? Why are there two tables with the same food, but one is good and one is bad?" The old man said, "This is a representation of heaven and hell. Look closely and you will see the difference." The boy looked at the tables and noticed that there were people sitting around them. They all had a long spoon tied to their arms. The spoons were so long that they could not reach their own mouths. The people on the good side of the wall were using their spoons to feed each other. They were smiling, laughing, and enjoying their food. They looked happy and satisfied. The people on the bad side of the wall were also using their spoons to feed themselves, but they could not reach their mouths. They were spilling the food on themselves and on the floor. They were angry, frustrated, and hungry. They looked miserable and unhappy. The boy understood and said, "I see, sir. The people on the good side are sharing and helping each other, while the people on the bad side are selfish and greedy. That is why they are in heaven or in hell." The old man said, "Exactly, young man. You have learned a very valuable lesson today. Heaven and hell are not places, but states of mind. They depend on how we treat ourselves and others. If we are kind and generous and cooperative, we create heaven for ourselves and others. If we are mean, stingy, and competitive, we create hell for ourselves and others. The choice is ours." The boy thanked the old man for his wisdom and returned to his home. He never forgot what he saw, and he tried to live his life according to the lesson he learned. He became a good person who always helped and shared with others. He was happy and content, and he made others happy and content too.